The acrid smell of smoke jolted me awake, piercing through the hazy veil of sleep like a dagger. For a split second, I was disoriented, wondering if this was some kind of vivid nightmare. But the heat pressing against my skin and the thickening smoke quickly grounded me in a terrifying reality. Our house was on fire. "Kids, get up now!" I shouted, my voice cracking with urgency as I shook them awake. Jack and Chloe, still groggy and confused, stumbled out of their beds. There was no time to waste. The flames were rapidly spreading, their sinister dance lighting up the hallway in an ominous glow. "Stay low and follow me," I instructed, grabbing each of them by the hand. We crawled through the dense smoke, the heat intensifying with every second. My heart pounded in my chest, not just from fear, but from the primal instinct to protect my children. We made it to the front door and burst out into the cool night air, gasping for breath. I quickly counted heads. Jack, Chloe, and where was Jessica? Panic gripped me as I realized she wasn't with us. I turned back towards the house, but the flames were already too fierce to re-enter. "Stay here," I told the kids, trying to keep my voice steady. "The fire department is on its way." Minutes felt like hours as we stood there, helplessly watching our home succumb to the blaze. The fire trucks arrived, their sirens blaring and lights flashing. But my mind was elsewhere, on Jessica. Where could she be? The firefighters worked tirelessly to control the inferno, but it wasn't until the early hours of the morning that they managed to extinguish the last of the flames. By then, the house was a smoldering ruin, and Jessica was still nowhere to be found. As the sun began to rise, painting the sky with hues of pink and orange, the reality of our situation began to sink in. We had lost everything. But as devastating as the fire was, it was only the beginning of a series of revelations that would shatter the foundation of my life. In the days that followed, I sifted through the charred remains of our home, trying to salvage anything that could be saved. It was during one of these grim searches that I stumbled upon a hidden compartment in Jessica's wardrobe. Inside, I found a phone I had never seen before. My heart sank as I powered it on and saw the flurry of messages from an unknown number. Curiosity and dread mixed in my gut as I began reading the texts. They were from a man named Michael, and the content left no room for doubt. Jessica had been having an affair for years, right under my nose. My world, already teetering from the fire, now came crashing down completely. The woman I had loved and trusted had betrayed me in the worst possible way. But as the initial shock and heartache began to fade, they were replaced by a burning resolve. Jessica thought she could get away with her deceit, but she was gravely mistaken. This was far from over. In the days that followed, I couldn't shake off the gnawing feeling of betrayal that had taken root in my chest. Jessica's absence was a constant reminder of her infidelity, and the more I thought about it, the more determined I became to uncover the full extent of her deceit. The hidden phone had been a revelation, but it was only the beginning. I needed more information and more evidence. As much as it pained me, I knew I had to delve deeper into her secret life. With the kids staying temporarily with my parents, I had the time and space to focus on my grim task. I started by thoroughly examining the phone. It was locked, but years of tinkering with gadgets had taught me a few tricks. After a few hours of trial and error, I managed to bypass the security. What I found was a treasure trove of damning evidence: messages, photos, and call logs that painted a vivid picture of her affair with Michael. Reading through their exchanges was like pouring salt into an open wound. The messages were intimate and detailed, filled with plans for secret rendezvous and declarations of love. They talked about everything, from mundane daily activities to their shared dreams and aspirations. It was clear that this was not just a fling, it was a deeply emotional relationship. One message in particular caught my eye. It was dated a few days before the fire. Jessica had written to Michael, "I can't keep living this double life. I need to find a way out." The words sent a chill down my spine. Had she been planning to leave us? Or worse, had the fire been part of her plan to start fresh? Determined to get to the bottom of this, I decided to consult a lawyer. I needed to know my rights and how best to protect myself and the kids. During our meeting, I laid everything out: the affair, the messages, and my suspicions. The lawyer, a sharp and empathetic woman named Rachel, listened carefully, occasionally jotting down notes. "You've got a solid case for divorce based on infidelity," she said, her tone professional yet sympathetic. But if you suspect foul play regarding the fire, that complicates things. We might need to involve private investigators to dig deeper into her activities and any potential connections to the incident. The idea of hiring a private investigator hadn't crossed my mind, but it made sense. If Jessica was hiding something more sinister, I needed to know. Rachel recommended a reputable firm, and I wasted no time in reaching out to them. Meanwhile, another troubling thought had been gnawing at the back of my mind: the children. Could it be possible that Jack and Chloe weren't biologically mine? The mere idea felt like a betrayal of the bond I had with them, but I needed to know the truth. I arranged for a discreet DNA test to put my mind at ease. Days turned into weeks as I waited for answers. The private investigator, a seasoned professional named Mark, kept me updated on his progress. He uncovered more about Jessica's relationship with Michael, confirming that it had been going on for over 3 years. They had met at a conference in Denver, and their affair had blossomed from there. But there was more. Mark discovered that Jessica had been siphoning money from our joint accounts into a secret one under her name. It was a substantial amount, enough to start a new life if she chose to. This revelation added a new layer of betrayal to an already devastating situation. Then came the results of the DNA test. I remember the moment vividly, sitting in my car, the envelope trembling in my hands. I opened it with bated breath, and the words on the page blurred as tears filled my eyes. Neither Jack nor Chloe was biologically mine. The ground beneath me seemed to collapse. Everything I had known, everything I had believed in, was crumbling. But amid the despair, a steely resolve began to form. Jessica had deceived me in the most unforgivable ways, and she would pay for it. With the evidence piling up, I knew it was time to confront her. The next step in my plan was clear. I would expose her lies, protect my children, and ensure that Jessica faced the consequences of her actions. The fire had ignited more than just our home. It had sparked a burning desire for justice within me, and I wouldn't rest until it was served. The confrontation with Jessica was inevitable. I had enough evidence to confront her and to take the next steps in securing my and the children's future. The fire had already torn apart our home, but her betrayal had torn apart my heart. It was time for Jessica to face the consequences of her actions. I arranged to meet Jessica in a public place, a coffee shop downtown. I wanted witnesses and people around us to ensure she couldn't create a scene or try to manipulate the situation. I sat at a corner table, my heart pounding as I waited. The phone with all the incriminating messages was tucked securely in my pocket. Jessica walked in looking visibly nervous. She spotted me and hesitated for a moment before walking over. She sat down across from me, her eyes searching mine, probably trying to gauge how much I knew. "John, what's this about?" she asked, her voice wavering slightly. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my emotions. "Jessica, I know about Michael. I know about the affair, and I know you've been stealing money from our accounts." Her face turned pale, and for a moment she looked like she might pass out. But then she gathered herself, her expression hardening. "I don't know what you're talking about," she said, but her voice lacked conviction. I pulled out the phone and placed it on the table between us. "This says otherwise," I replied, flipping through the messages. "I found this hidden in your wardrobe. You've been lying to me for years, Jessica, and now I know the truth." She stared at the phone, her face a mask of fear and anger. "You had no right to go through my things," she spat. "I had every right," I shot back. "You've been deceiving me, betraying our family, and you thought you could just get away with it?" For a moment, she seemed to crumble, her facade breaking. Tears welled up in her eyes. "I'm sorry, John. I never meant for it to go this far." "Sorry," I echoed, my voice rising. "Sorry doesn't even begin to cover it, Jessica. You've torn our family apart. And what about the kids? Did you ever think about them?" She looked down, unable to meet my gaze. I didn't know how to stop," she admitted. "I got caught up in it all. Michael made me feel alive again." Her words stung, but I forced myself to stay focused. "It's too late for apologies. I've already spoken to a lawyer. I'm filing for divorce, and I want full custody of the kids." Her head snapped up at that, panic in her eyes. "No, John, please. They're my children too." "Are they?" I asked, my voice cold. "Because I had a DNA test done. Neither Jack nor Chloe is biologically mine. You've been lying to me about that too." The shock on her face was evident. She hadn't expected me to go that far. "John, please, we can work something out," she pleaded, tears streaming down her face now. "There's nothing to work out, Jessica," I said, my resolve firm. "You've destroyed any trust we had. I will not let you ruin what's left of our lives." I stood up, leaving her sobbing at the table. As I walked out of the coffee shop, a weight lifted off my shoulders. The confrontation was over, but the battle had just begun. I had to protect my children and ensure they were safe from Jessica's destructive behavior. Back at the lawyer's office, Rachel and I reviewed the evidence I had gathered. "This will be more than enough for a solid case," she assured me. "We'll start the divorce proceedings and push for full custody. With the DNA results and evidence of her infidelity and financial misconduct, we have a strong position." I nodded, feeling a mix of relief and sadness. This wasn't the life I had envisioned, but it was the path I had to take. For Jack and Chloe, and my peace of mind, I had to see this through. Rachel also suggested hiring a financial expert to trace all the money Jessica had siphoned off. "We need to ensure she can't access any more funds and that she faces the legal repercussions of her actions," she explained. I agreed. Every step I took now was towards securing a stable future for the kids and myself. Jessica had underestimated me, thinking she could deceive me indefinitely. But now, the truth was out, and justice would be served. As I left the lawyer's office, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. The road ahead would be challenging, but I was ready to face it head-on. Jessica had lit the match that started this inferno, but I would rise from the ashes stronger than before. The battle for my family had just begun, and I was prepared to fight until the very end. The days following my confrontation with Jessica were a whirlwind of activity. I was determined to leave no stone unturned, to gather every piece of evidence that would ensure my children's safety and secure a future free from Jessica's deceit. The revelations had been devastating, but now it was time to act. First, I focused on the financial aspect. I contacted a forensic accountant recommended by Rachel. His name was Tom, a meticulous and experienced professional who specialized in uncovering hidden assets and financial fraud. We met in his office, and I handed over all the bank statements and financial records I had managed to gather. Tom examined the documents with a practiced eye. "There's something fishy here," he said after a while. "We'll need to dig deeper, but I suspect she's been funneling money through multiple accounts." He explained the process of tracing the funds and assured me he would leave no detail unchecked. "We'll find out exactly where your money has gone," he promised, "and we'll make sure it comes back to you." Meanwhile, Mark, the private investigator, continued his surveillance on Jessica and Michael. He had already uncovered significant information about their meetings and the lengths they had gone to keep their affair secret. But I needed more. I needed concrete proof that could stand up in court. One evening, Mark called me with an update. "John, we've got something. Jessica and Michael are meeting at a hotel downtown. This could be the break we need." I felt a mixture of anticipation and dread. "Are you sure?" I asked. "Positive. I'll be there to document everything." That night, I could barely sleep, my mind racing with the possibilities. Early the next morning, Mark sent me photos and recordings from the hotel. The images showed Jessica and Michael together, confirming their affair beyond any doubt. The recordings captured their conversations, discussing their plans, and even touching on the money Jessica had taken. With this new evidence, I felt more confident. Rachel was pleased when I showed her the material. "This strengthens our case significantly," she said. "We'll present this to the court. It's clear Jessica's actions have been deliberate and deceitful." However, there was still one more crucial piece of evidence I needed: the truth about the fire. It had always seemed too coincidental, happening just as Jessica's double life was on the verge of collapse. I contacted the fire department to get a copy of their investigation report. The initial findings had ruled the fire as accidental, but I suspected there might be more to the story. I hired another expert, a fire investigator named Bill, to review the report and the remains of our house. Bill was a seasoned professional with a reputation for uncovering the truth in even the most complex cases. He spent several days examining the site, meticulously sifting through the charred remains. Finally, he called me with his findings. "John, I found something interesting," he said. "The fire was started by a faulty electrical wire but the placement and damage pattern suggest it might not have been an accident. What do you mean? I asked, my heart pounding. It's possible someone tampered with the wiring, he explained. I can't say for certain, but the evidence points to foul play. This revelation sent chills down my spine. If Jessica had a hand in starting the fire, it would explain her mysterious disappearance that night. It was a dark thought, but one that couldn't be ignored. Armed with this new information, I returned to Rachel. We need to include this in our case, I told her. If there's even a chance Jessica was involved in the fire, the court needs to know. Rachel agreed and began preparing the necessary documents. This changes everything, she said. If we can prove she endangered the children, it will be a significant factor in the custody battle. As the legal proceedings began to take shape, I felt a mix of emotions. Relief that the truth was coming to light, but also a deep sadness for what our family had become. The children were my primary concern, and I was determined to shield them from as much of this turmoil as possible. I started making arrangements to move out of the temporary housing provided by my parents and into a new home. It was a small house in a quiet neighborhood, close enough to their school and friends, but far enough from the memories of our old life. I wanted a fresh start for all of us, a place where we could heal and rebuild. As I packed our belongings, I found myself thinking about the future. There was still a long road ahead, but I was ready to face it. The betrayal and pain had been overwhelming, but they had also revealed a strength within me I hadn't known existed. Jessica had underestimated me, thinking she could keep her secrets hidden forever. But now, the truth was out, and justice was within reach. For Jack and Chloe and myself, I would see this through to the end. The fight was far from over, but with every step, we were getting closer to a new beginning. The legal battle was about to begin, and I was prepared to fight with every ounce of strength I had. Jessica's betrayal had cut deep, but my focus now was on securing a safe and stable future for my children. With the evidence we had gathered, Rachel and I felt confident about our case. The day of the first court hearing arrived, and I walked into the courtroom with a sense of determination. Jessica was already there, sitting with her lawyer. She looked composed, but I could see the tension in her eyes. This was going to be a battle, and we both knew it. Rachel began by presenting the evidence of Jessica's infidelity. The messages, photos, and recordings from the hotel were laid out in meticulous detail. As the judge reviewed the evidence, I could see the impact it was having. This was not just a case of a broken marriage, it was a case of deception and betrayal. Jessica's lawyer tried to downplay the affair, arguing that it had no bearing on her abilities as a mother. But Rachel was prepared for this. She presented the financial evidence next, showing how Jessica had siphoned money into a secret account. This was a clear violation of trust and demonstrated a pattern of deceitful behavior. The judge listened carefully, asking questions and taking notes. It was clear that he was taking our case seriously. Then came the most damning evidence, the possibility that Jessica had tampered with the electrical wiring, causing the fire. Bill, the fire investigator, testified about his findings, explaining the anomalies he had discovered. Jessica's lawyer tried to discredit Bill's testimony, but the evidence was compelling. The judge decided that this issue required further investigation, but it was already clear that Jessica's actions had put our children at risk. After the hearing, Rachel and I reviewed the day's proceedings. "We've made a strong case," she said, "but we need to stay vigilant. This is just the beginning." The next few weeks were a blur of legal maneuvers and court appearances. Jessica's lawyer fought back fiercely, but the weight of the evidence was against them. Rachel remained calm and focused, guiding me through each step of the process. One day, I received a call from the private investigator, Mark. "John, I've got more information on Michael," he said. "It turns out he has a criminal record, fraud and embezzlement. This could be significant for our case." Rachel was thrilled with this new development. "This shows that Jessica not only betrayed you, but is also associated with a known criminal. It strengthens our argument for full custody." We presented this new evidence in court, and it had a profound impact. The judge was visibly disturbed by the revelation and ordered a full background check on Michael. This was a turning point in our case, and I felt a surge of hope. As the custody battle continued, I focused on creating a stable environment for the children. We moved into our new home, and I worked hard to establish a routine for Jack and Chloe. I enrolled them in counseling to help them cope with the changes and made sure they knew they were loved and supported. Despite the turmoil, there were moments of joy and connection. We spent weekends exploring the new neighborhood, visiting parks and playing games. I wanted them to feel secure and happy, even as the legal battle raged on. Then came the day of the final custody hearing. I walked into the courtroom with a mix of nerves and determination. Rachel had prepared me for every possible scenario, but the outcome was still uncertain. The judge reviewed all the evidence once more, taking his time to consider each aspect of the case. Finally, he looked up and addressed the courtroom. This has been a difficult case, but the evidence is clear. Jessica's actions have demonstrated a lack of judgment and a pattern of deceit. In the best interest of the children, I am awarding full custody to John. A wave of relief washed over me as I heard the judge's words. I glanced at Jessica, who sat there in stunned silence. This was the moment I had been fighting for, the moment that would secure a safe and stable future for my children. As we left the courtroom, Rachel turned to me with a smile. "We did it, John. You did it. Now you can focus on rebuilding your life and providing a loving home for Jack and Chloe." The legal battle was over, but the journey was far from finished. There were still challenges ahead, but for the first time in a long while, I felt a sense of hope and possibility. Jessica had thought she could betray me without consequence, but justice had been served. Now, it was time to move forward and create a new beginning for my family. With the custody battle behind us, it was time to focus on rebuilding our lives. The court's decision had been a significant victory, but it also marked the beginning of a new chapter filled with challenges and opportunities. I was determined to create a stable and nurturing environment for Jack and Chloe, where they could heal and thrive. Our new home was a modest house in a quiet neighborhood. It wasn't as grand as the one we had lost in the fire, but it was ours, and it symbolized a fresh start. I spent the first few weeks organizing and decorating, making sure the kids felt comfortable and at home. Each room was filled with personal touches, from family photos to their favorite toys and books. One of my top priorities was enrolling the kids in their new school. I met with the principal and their teachers, explaining our situation and ensuring they received the support they needed. The school staff was understanding and compassionate, promising to keep an eye on Jack and Chloe as they adjusted. The kids' initial days at school were challenging. They were understandably anxious and withdrawn, struggling to make new friends and adapt to the new environment. I made it a point to talk to them every evening, encouraging them to share their feelings and experiences. "Dad, will things ever go back to normal?" Chloe asked one night, her eyes filled with uncertainty. I hugged her tightly. "We're creating a new normal, Chloe. It might be different, but it will be good. I promise you that." I also enrolled Jack and Chloe in counseling sessions to help them process their emotions. Their therapist, Dr. Miller, specialized in working with children who had experienced trauma. He was patient and kind, creating a safe space for them to express their fears and anxieties. Meanwhile, I continued working with Tom, the forensic accountant, to recover the money Jessica had siphoned off. The legal process was slow, but we were making progress. With each recovered dollar, I felt a step closer to securing a stable financial future for my family. One weekend, I decided to take the kids on a camping trip. It was something we had always enjoyed as a family, and I wanted to recreate those happy memories. We packed our gear and drove to a nearby national park, surrounded by towering trees and serene lakes. As we set up our tent and gathered wood for the campfire, I could see the excitement and joy returning to their faces. That evening, we roasted marshmallows and told stories under the starry sky. It was a simple yet profound experience, reminding us of the strength of our bond and the importance of cherishing these moments together. "Dad, this is the best," Jack said, his face illuminated by the flickering flames. "I'm so glad we came here." "Me too, buddy," I replied, feeling a deep sense of contentment. Back home, life slowly began to find a new rhythm. I focused on my work, ensuring I could provide for the kids while also being present for them. We developed routines that brought a sense of normalcy and security. Breakfast together every morning, helping with homework in the evenings, and family game nights on weekends. Despite the progress we were making, there were still moments of doubt and sadness. Jessica's betrayal had left scars, and the road to healing was long. But with each passing day, I felt more confident in our ability to overcome the challenges. One day, I received a call from Rachel. "John, I have some good news. we've managed to recover the majority of the funds Jessica took. It's a significant amount, and it will help secure your financial stability." I was overwhelmed with relief. "Thank you, Rachel. This means so much to us." With the financial burden eased, I was able to focus more on the kids and our future. I started thinking about ways to create lasting memories and traditions. We began volunteering at a local animal shelter on weekends, an activity that brought us closer together and instilled a sense of empathy and responsibility in Jack and Chloe. As the months passed, I noticed a remarkable transformation in the kids. They were more confident, happier, and more engaged in their activities. Jack joined the school's soccer team, and Chloe took up painting, expressing her creativity through vibrant colors and imaginative designs. One evening, as we sat around the dinner table, Jack looked up and said, "Dad, I think we're going to be okay. I miss Mom, but I'm glad we have each other." Chloe nodded in agreement. "Yeah, we're a team, and teams stick together." Their words brought tears to my eyes. Despite everything we had been through, we had come out stronger on the other side. The love and resilience of my children were my greatest sources of strength, and I was determined to continue building a life filled with love, laughter, and hope. Jessica's betrayal had once seemed like an insurmountable obstacle, but it had also revealed the depth of our family's resilience. We had faced the fire and the heartbreak, and we had emerged from the ashes with a renewed sense of purpose. As we moved forward, I knew there would be more challenges to face, but I was confident in our ability to overcome them together. Our journey of healing and rebuilding was far from over, but with each step, we were creating a future filled with possibilities and promise. Life was starting to regain a semblance of normalcy. Jack and Chloe were adjusting well to their new school, and our routines provided a comforting structure. I had finally begun to feel that we were on a stable path forward. However, life, as I had come to learn, has a way of throwing unexpected twists when you least expect them. One afternoon, while sorting through the mail, I came across a letter addressed to Jessica. It was from a law firm I didn't recognize. My curiosity piqued, and I opened it, knowing full well that it might contain information critical to our ongoing legal battles. The letter was a notification from the firm representing Michael. He had been arrested and was facing multiple charges of fraud and embezzlement, not just in our state, but across several others. My hands trembled as I read further, discovering that Jessica had been named as an accomplice in some of his schemes. They were seeking her for questioning and possible charges. This new information was both a shock and an opportunity. If Jessica was implicated in Michael's criminal activities, it could significantly impact our ongoing custody case and any potential financial restitution. I immediately contacted Rachel to discuss the implications. "John, this is significant," Rachel said, her voice steady but urgent. "If Jessica is charged, it could change everything. We need to act quickly and ensure this information is brought to the court's attention." Rachel wasted no time filing a motion to include this new development in our case. She also contacted the authorities to confirm the details and understand the potential legal ramifications for Jessica. It was a whirlwind of phone calls, meetings, and paperwork. Amid this chaos, Jessica unexpectedly reached out to me. Her voice on the phone was a mix of desperation and fear. "John, I need to talk to you," she said, her usual bravado replaced by a trembling vulnerability. "Please, can we meet?" I agreed to meet her at a neutral location, a small cafe away from prying eyes. As I arrived, I saw her sitting at a corner table, looking more frail and anxious than I had ever seen her. "John, I'm in trouble," she began, her eyes darting around nervously. "Michael's been arrested, and they're coming after me too. I didn't know about most of the things he was involved in, I swear, but now they're saying I'm an accomplice." I listened, torn between anger and pity. "Jessica, you made your choices. You lied and cheated, and now it's all catching up with you. What do you expect me to do? Please, John, you have to help me. For the kids' sake. I can't go to jail. They need their mother," she pleaded, tears streaming down her face. Her words stung, but I had to think clearly. "Jessica, the kids are my priority. You put them at risk with your actions. I will do what's best for them, and right now, that means protecting them from any further harm." She sobbed, realizing the gravity of her situation. "What can I do? How can I fix this?" I took a deep breath, considering my options. "You need to cooperate with the authorities. Tell them everything you know about Michael's activities. It might help your case. And as for the kids, you need to stay away until this is resolved. They can't be dragged into this mess. Jessica nodded, her desperation palpable. I'll do it, John. I'll tell them everything. With that, our meeting ended. I left the cafe feeling a strange mix of emotions, relief, sadness, and a sliver of hope that perhaps in the end, justice would prevail. Back home, I explained the situation to Jack and Chloe in the gentlest way possible. Your mom is in some trouble right now, and she needs to sort things out. We need to support each other and stay strong. They were understandably confused and upset, but they trusted me. We spent the evening together, playing games and talking, reinforcing the bond that had become our greatest source of strength. Rachel moved quickly, filing the necessary documents to update our case with the new developments. The court was informed of Jessica's potential charges and her cooperation with the authorities. This new twist added complexity to our situation, but it also reinforced our position. In the weeks that followed, Jessica's legal troubles intensified. She cooperated with the investigation, providing valuable information that led to further charges against Michael and his associates. While this cooperation helped her case, it also highlighted the extent of her involvement, intentional or otherwise. The court took all these factors into account, and the judge's final ruling reflected the gravity of the situation. Jessica was granted supervised visitation rights, but full custody remained with me. Her ability to provide a stable and safe environment for the children was severely compromised, and the court recognized the need to protect Jack and Chloe. Jessica's legal battles were far from over, and her future remained uncertain. But for my children and me, a sense of justice and closure began to take root. We had faced unimaginable challenges and emerged stronger. The unexpected twist had tested our resilience, but it had also brought clarity and resolution. As we continued to move forward, the lessons of the past year became a foundation for our future. Honesty, trust, and the strength of our family bond guided us through the darkest times and into the light of new beginnings. With the legal battles behind us, it was time to fully embrace our new life. The months of turmoil had taught us resilience and the value of each moment together. Jack and Chloe were adapting well, and our new home had become a sanctuary of stability and love. It was time to focus on the future and create new memories. Summer was approaching, and I decided to plan a special trip for the three of us. We needed a break from the past year's stress, and what better way to do that than with a vacation? I chose a cabin by the lake, a place where we could relax, explore nature, and enjoy each other's company without distractions. The excitement in Jack and Chloe's eyes when I told them about the trip was priceless. "Dad, this is going to be awesome," Jack exclaimed, while Chloe hugged me tightly, her face glowing with anticipation. We packed our bags, loaded up the car, and set off early one Saturday morning. The drive to the lake was filled with laughter and music, the kids taking turns picking their favorite songs. As we approached our destination, the sight of the shimmering water and the surrounding pine trees brought a sense of peace. The cabin was cozy and inviting, nestled in a quiet spot with a stunning view of the lake. We spent our days swimming, fishing, and hiking. In the evenings, we gathered around the campfire, roasting marshmallows and telling stories under the starry sky. It was a time of healing and bonding, a chance to reconnect and strengthen our family ties. One afternoon, while we were out on the lake in a rented canoe, Jack looked up at me and said, "Dad, I've never been this happy. I'm glad we're here." Chloe nodded in agreement, her hand trailing in the cool water. "Me too. This is the best trip ever." Their words filled me with a profound sense of gratitude. Despite everything we had been through, we were here, together, creating new memories and finding joy in the simple things. Back at home, life continued to improve. I found a new job that offered better hours and a supportive work environment, allowing me to spend more time with the kids. Our new routine was built on trust, communication, and love. We had become a true team, facing each day with optimism and resilience. Jack's soccer skills had flourished, and he was now one of the star players on his school team. Watching him score a goal, his face lit up with pure joy, was one of my proudest moments. Chloe's artistic talents also blossomed. Her paintings adorned our home, each one a testament to her creativity and spirit. One evening, as we sat down for dinner, Chloe announced, "Dad, there's an art competition at school. I want to enter one of my paintings." That's fantastic, Chloe, I said, beaming with pride. Which one are you thinking of submitting? She ran to her room and returned with a vibrant painting of our lake trip. This one, she said, smiling. It reminds me of how happy we were. It's beautiful, sweetheart. I'm sure it will do great in the competition, I replied, feeling a surge of pride. Jack chimed in, and if you win, we can have a celebration. Absolutely, I agreed. We'll make it a special day. The art competition day arrived, and we all attended the event. Chloe's painting stood out among the entries, and she won first place. Her face lit up with pride as she received her award, and I couldn't have been prouder. We celebrated with ice cream and a movie night, making it a day to remember. As the months passed, our lives continued to stabilize and flourish. We made new friends in the neighborhood and became more involved in community activities. I even started dating again, cautiously opening my heart to new possibilities while ensuring that my children remained my top priority. One weekend, during a community picnic, I met Laura, a kind and compassionate woman who worked as a teacher. We hit it off immediately, bonding over our shared love for children and the outdoors. We took things slow, and as our relationship developed, I introduced her to Jack and Chloe. They took to her instantly, and it wasn't long before she became an integral part of our lives. Laura's presence brought a new level of happiness and stability to our family. She had a gentle way of connecting with the kids, helping with homework, and planning fun activities. Her kindness and support were exactly what we needed, and for the first time in a long while, I felt a sense of completeness. As we approached the anniversary of the fire, I decided it was time to confront the past and honor our journey. We organized a small ceremony at our new home, inviting close friends and family. We planted a tree in the backyard, symbolizing growth, resilience, and new beginnings. Standing around the freshly planted tree, I looked at Jack and Chloe, who were holding hands, and Laura, who had become a cherished part of our family. This tree represents our strength and our future, I said, my voice filled with emotion. We've been through a lot, but we've come out stronger. And now, we're building a new life together. We each took turns adding soil around the tree, symbolizing our commitment to nurturing and growing together. As we finished, Jack stepped forward, his eyes shining with determination. Dad, I promise to always be there for you and Chloe. We're a team, and nothing can break us. Chloe nodded, her face glowing with pride. We're stronger together, and we always will be. Laura squeezed my hand, her eyes filled with love and support. To new beginnings, she said softly. To new beginnings, we all echoed, feeling a sense of hope and unity. As the tree took root and grew, so did we. Our lives were filled with challenges and unexpected twists, but we faced them together, with love, resilience, and hope. The past year had tested us in ways we could never have imagined, but it had also brought us closer and made us stronger. Our journey was far from over, but with each new day, we built a future filled with love, laughter, and endless possibilities. And as we stood together, looking at the tree that symbolized our new beginning, I knew that no matter what came our way, we would face it together, as a family. With our new life taking shape, and the days filled with happiness and stability, I felt a growing need to confront the lingering shadows of our past. The revelations about Jessica's betrayal and the fire had left scars, and though we had moved forward, there were still unresolved emotions and unanswered questions. One evening, after putting Jack and Chloe to bed, I sat down with Laura. I've been thinking a lot about everything that happened with Jessica, I began, my voice hesitant. I feel like I need some closure, for my peace of mind and the kids' sake. Laura nodded, her eyes full of understanding. I think that's a good idea, John. Sometimes to truly move forward, we need to confront the past. Encouraged by her support, I decided to reach out to Jessica. She had been cooperative with the authorities, and her legal situation had stabilized somewhat. We hadn't spoken since our last meeting, and I knew it would be difficult, but it was a necessary step. I called her the next day, my heart pounding as the phone rang. She answered after a few rings, her voice wary. John, why are you calling? I think we need to talk, I replied, trying to keep my tone steady. For the sake of the kids and our closure, can we meet? There was a long pause before she sighed. Okay, when and where? We agreed to meet at a park near her temporary residence. It was a neutral, public place, providing a sense of safety and openness. As I arrived, I saw her sitting on a bench, looking lost in thought. She appeared more fragile than I remembered, the weight of her actions evident in her demeanor. "Thank you for meeting me," I said as I approached, sitting down beside her. She nodded, her eyes fixed on the ground. "I suppose we need to do this." I took a deep breath, gathering my thoughts. "Jessica, I'm not here to blame you or rehash everything that happened. I just need to understand why. Why did you do it? Why did you betray our family?" She looked up at me, her eyes filled with tears. "John, I don't know where to start. I was unhappy, but I didn't know how to tell you. Michael made me feel alive again and I got caught up in it. I never meant to hurt you or the kids." Her words, though painful, were honest. "Why didn't you just talk to me? We could have worked through it together." "I was afraid," she admitted. "Afraid of losing you, afraid of admitting my failures. And by the time I realized how deep I was in, it was too late." I nodded, understanding dawning. "Jessica, I wish you had trusted me enough to talk about it. But what's done is done. We need to focus on the future now." She wiped her tears, her voice trembling. "I want to be part of the kids' lives, John. I know I've made mistakes, but I love them." "I know you do," I replied, my tone softening. "But you need to prove that you're stable and reliable. The kids need consistency and safety. You can start by showing up for supervised visits and being honest with them." "I will," she promised, a new resolve in her eyes. "I want to make things right as much as I can." We sat in silence for a moment, the weight of our past hanging between us. Then, with a sense of finality, I stood up. "Take care of yourself, Jessica, for the kids' sake." "You too, John. Thank you for giving me this chance," she said, her voice sincere. As I walked away, I felt a mixture of relief and sadness. Confronting Jessica had been necessary, a step towards healing the wounds of the past. It was clear that the path to redemption would be long for her, but at least now there was a glimmer of hope. When I got home, Laura was waiting for me. "How did it go?" she asked, her eyes full of concern. "It was tough, but I think it was the right thing to do," I replied, hugging her tightly. "We need to move forward, and this was a part of that process." Life continued to move on, and with each passing day, the scars of the past began to fade. Jack and Chloe's relationship with their mother slowly started to mend, though it was clear that it would take time and effort from all sides. One evening, as we were having dinner, Jack looked up and asked, "Dad, will Mom ever come back to live with us?" I paused, choosing my words carefully. "Mom is working on making things right, Jack. She needs to get better and show that she can be there for you and Chloe. For now, we need to focus on our new life and support each other." Chloe nodded, her face thoughtful. "I miss her, but I'm happy we're together, Dad. You and Laura make everything better." Laura smiled, reaching out to squeeze Chloe's hand. "We're a team, remember? And teams support each other, no matter what." The sense of unity and love around the table filled me with hope. We had faced incredible challenges, but we had come out stronger. Our future was bright, and together, we could handle anything that came our way. As we continued to build our new life, I knew that confronting the past had been a crucial step. It allowed us to close one chapter and begin another, filled with love, resilience, and endless possibilities. The road ahead might still have its ups and downs, but with our family bond stronger than ever, we were ready for whatever lay ahead. As the months rolled by, our new life settled into a rhythm of stability and joy. Jack and Chloe were thriving at school, and my relationship with Laura continued to deepen. We had become a tight-knit family, each day filled with laughter, support, and love. However, just when we thought we had everything figured out, life had another twist in store for us. One sunny Saturday morning, we decided to visit the local farmers market. It was one of our favorite weekend activities, and the kids loved exploring the stalls, sampling fresh fruits, and picking out treats. As we wandered through the bustling market, I spotted a familiar face in the crowd, Jessica. She was standing at a stall, looking at some fresh flowers. She seemed different, more composed, and there was a certain calmness about her. Seeing her there, in a place that had become part of our new life, was jarring. Laura noticed my reaction and followed my gaze. "Is that?" she began, her voice trailing off. "Yes," I replied, my heart pounding. "That's Jessica." Jack and Chloe were ahead of us, engrossed in picking out some apples. I took a deep breath and walked over to Jessica, with Laura by my side. "Jessica," I said, my voice steady. She turned, surprise and a hint of apprehension in her eyes. "John, Laura, hi." "Hi," Laura said warmly, breaking the initial tension. "How are you?" "I'm doing better," Jessica replied, a genuine smile forming on her lips. "I've been going to therapy and working on myself. I'm volunteering at a local community center now." "That's good to hear," I said, feeling a mix of emotions. "The kids are here too. They're picking out some apples over there." Jessica glanced towards them, her eyes softening. "I'd love to see them, if that's okay." I looked at Laura, who nodded in support. "Of course," I said. "Let's go." We walked over to Jack and Chloe, who were happily filling a bag with apples. "Hey guys, look who's here," I said, trying to keep my voice light. They turned around, their faces lighting up with surprise. "Mom!" Chloe exclaimed, running over to hug her. Jack followed, a bit more reserved but happy to see her. "Hi, Mom!" Jessica hugged them both tightly, tears of joy in her eyes. "I've missed you both so much." "We missed you too," Chloe said, her voice muffled against Jessica's shoulder. We spent the rest of the morning together, walking through the market and catching up. Jessica told us about her work at the community center, her therapy sessions, and how she was focusing on becoming a better person. It was clear that she had made significant progress, and seeing her interact with the kids filled me with cautious optimism. As we sat down for lunch at a nearby cafe, Jessica looked at me with a mixture of hope and determination. "John, I know I've made mistakes, huge mistakes, but I'm trying to make amends. I want to be part of the kids' lives if you'll let me." I glanced at Jack and Chloe, who were listening intently. "It's not just my decision," I said. "It's up to them too." Jack spoke up, his voice steady. "We want you to be part of our lives, Mom, but you have to keep working on yourself." Chloe nodded in agreement. "We need you to be there for us, really be there." Jessica's eyes filled with tears again. "I will, I promise. I'll do whatever it takes." Laura, who had been quietly supporting the conversation, finally spoke. "Jessica, it's clear you've made a lot of progress. The kids need to have both parents in their lives. We'll take things one step at a time." The rest of the afternoon was filled with laughter and stories. It felt good to see the kids so happy, and I realized that this unexpected reunion could be a positive turning point for all of us. Jessica and I agreed to start with supervised visits, gradually increasing her time with the kids as she continued to prove her stability. In the weeks that followed, Jessica's visits became a regular part of our routine. She showed up consistently, participated in family activities, and worked hard to rebuild her relationship with Jack and Chloe. It wasn't always easy, and there were moments of tension and emotional struggles, but we faced them together. One evening, after a particularly successful family outing, Jack pulled me aside. "Dad, I think Mom is trying. It's different this time." "I think so too, buddy," I said, hugging him. "We'll keep taking things one day at a time." As time passed, Jessica's presence became a positive influence in our lives. She and Laura even developed a cordial relationship, united by their love for the kids. It was a complex dynamic, but one that ultimately strengthened our family bond. One weekend, as we all gathered for a barbecue in the backyard, I looked around at my family. Jack and Chloe laughing as they played, Laura chatting with Jessica, and the sense of unity and peace that had settled over us. It wasn't the life I had imagined, but it was a life filled with resilience, forgiveness, and love. We had faced incredible challenges and unexpected twists, but through it all, we had found a way to heal and grow. Our journey was far from over, but with each step, we continued to build a future filled with hope and endless possibilities. As the sun set and the stars began to twinkle in the sky, I felt a profound sense of gratitude. We confronted the past and embraced the future, creating a new beginning that was stronger and more beautiful than anything I could have imagined. And as long as we faced it together, I knew we could handle whatever came our way. With the family dynamic stabilizing, my focus shifted to ensuring our financial security and exploring new ventures that could provide long-term stability. Recovering the funds that Jessica had siphoned off had been a crucial step, but there was still more to be done to secure our future. One day, as I was going through some paperwork, an idea struck me. I had always been passionate about helping others, and I had seen firsthand the impact of community support. What if I could combine my professional skills with my desire to give back? The thought of starting a business that could make a difference began to take root. I discussed the idea with Laura one evening after dinner. I've been thinking about starting a consulting firm that focuses on helping small businesses and nonprofits, I said. I want to use my skills to help others succeed while ensuring our financial stability. Laura's eyes lit up with enthusiasm. That sounds like a fantastic idea, John. You have the experience and the passion for it. Plus, you'd be setting a great example for Jack and Chloe. With Laura's support and encouragement, I began to lay the groundwork for my new venture. I reached out to my network, contacting former colleagues and friends to gauge interest and gather advice. The response was overwhelmingly positive, and I felt a renewed sense of purpose and excitement. I decided to name the consulting firm New Horizons Consulting, symbolizing the fresh start and new opportunities it represented. I rented a small office space in town and began setting up the business, balancing my time between work, family, and the new venture. One weekend, as I was organizing the office, Jack and Chloe came by to help. "Dad, this place looks cool," Jack said, his eyes wide with excitement. "What are you going to do here?" "I'm going to help other businesses and organizations succeed," I explained. "It's a way to use what I know to make a positive impact." Chloe smiled, her eyes shining with pride. "Can we help too?" "Of course," I replied, feeling a surge of pride. "You two are my inspiration." As the business began to take off, I found myself busier than ever, but it was a good kind of busy. I was doing something meaningful and impactful, and the kids were involved every step of the way. They helped with small tasks, learned about entrepreneurship, and even came up with creative ideas to contribute. Jessica also showed interest in the business. "I'd like to help if I can," she said one day. "I have some experience with community outreach and fundraising from my time at the community center." Her offer took me by surprise, but I realized it was another step in her journey of redemption. "That would be great, Jessica. We could use your skills to expand our reach." With Jessica's help, New Horizons Consulting began to thrive. We secured several clients ranging from small local businesses to nonprofits seeking to improve their operations and outreach. The work was challenging but incredibly rewarding, and the sense of accomplishment fueled my determination to keep growing the business. One afternoon, as I was finalizing a proposal for a new client, Laura walked into the office with a smile. "John, I have some exciting news," she said, holding up a piece of paper. "I've been offered a position as the director of a new community initiative. It's a project aimed at supporting families and children in need." "That's amazing, Laura," I exclaimed, hugging her. "I'm so proud of you." Her new role was a perfect fit for her compassionate nature and professional skills, and it aligned beautifully with our family's values. We celebrated her achievement with a special dinner, feeling grateful for the opportunities and new beginnings that had come our way. As New Horizons Consulting continued to grow, I made it a priority to balance work and family life. We set aside regular family time, whether it was game nights, weekend outings, or simply enjoying dinner together. These moments were precious and essential for maintaining our bond. One evening, as we sat around the dinner table, Jack looked up and said, "Dad, I'm proud of you. You've worked so hard to make everything better for us." Chloe nodded in agreement. "Yeah, and you always make time for us too. We're really lucky." Their words touched me deeply. "I'm proud of you both too. We've been through a lot, but we've come out stronger because we have each other." As the months passed, our lives became a testament to resilience, hard work, and the power of new beginnings. New Horizons Consulting flourished, helping countless businesses and organizations achieve their goals. Laura's new role brought her immense fulfillment, and Jessica's continued involvement in the community and our family showed her dedication to making amends. One weekend, we decided to take a trip to celebrate our achievements and the strength of our family. We chose a cozy cabin in the mountains, surrounded by nature's beauty. As we hiked through the trails, enjoyed picnics by the river, and shared stories by the campfire, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. We had faced incredible challenges and emerged stronger, creating a life filled with love, purpose, and endless possibilities. The journey was far from over, but with each step, we continued to build a future that reflected our values and dreams. As we stood together, looking out over the breathtaking mountain vista, I realized that our story was one of hope, redemption, and new beginnings. No matter what lay ahead, we were ready to face it together, as a family, with courage and unwavering love. With the success of New Horizons Consulting and Laura's fulfilling role in her new community initiative, our lives found a steady, joyful rhythm. However, I felt it was important to continually nurture the bonds within our family, ensuring that we remained close and connected. Strengthening these bonds would help us weather any future storms and celebrate the many joys that life has to offer. One idea that had been brewing in my mind was a family project, something that would bring us together and allow us to create lasting memories. After discussing it with Laura and the kids, we decided to start a family garden in our backyard. It was the perfect way to work together, learn new skills, and enjoy the fruits of our labor, both literally and figuratively. One sunny Saturday morning, we all gathered in the backyard to begin our project. Jack and Chloe were excited, armed with small gardening tools and packets of seeds. Laura and I had done some planning, and we decided to start with a variety of vegetables and a few flowering plants to add color and beauty. "Okay, team," I said, gathering everyone around. "Let's decide where we want to plant everything. Jack, you're in charge of the tomatoes and cucumbers. Chloe, you get to plant the carrots and lettuce. Laura and I will handle the flowers and herbs." The kids eagerly set to work, digging holes and carefully placing seeds in the soil. Laura and I joined them, and soon the backyard was buzzing with activity. It was heartwarming to see everyone working together, chatting and laughing as we turned our patch of land into a vibrant garden. Over the next few weeks, we tended to our garden diligently. Watering, weeding, and watching the first green shoots appear became a daily routine. It was a wonderful way to spend time together, and the anticipation of seeing our plants grow brought a sense of excitement and accomplishment. One evening, as we were sitting on the porch admiring our progress, Chloe looked up and said, "Dad, this is the best project ever. I love spending time with everyone and seeing the garden grow." "I agree," Jack chimed in. "It's cool to watch the plants change every day." Laura smiled, her eyes filled with warmth. "It's not just about the garden, but about the time we spend together. That's what makes it special." Their words filled me with a profound sense of fulfillment. The garden had become more than just a project. It was a symbol of our growth as a family and the strength of our bond. As the garden flourished, so did our family. Jessica continued to be a part of our lives, attending family gatherings and participating in activities with the kids. Her efforts to rebuild her relationship with Jack and Chloe were evident, and they began to trust her more with each passing day. One weekend, we decided to have a family picnic in our backyard, using some of the produce from our garden. It was a beautiful, sunny day, and we set up a table with fresh salads, homemade sandwiches, and a fruit tart that Chloe and I had baked together. "This is amazing," Jessica said, taking a bite of the salad. "The vegetables taste so fresh. You all did a fantastic job with the garden." "Thanks, Mom," Jack replied, grinning. "It was a lot of fun. You should join us next time." "I'd love that," she said, her smile genuine. The picnic was a testament to how far we had come as a family. We had faced immense challenges, but we had grown stronger and more united because of them. The garden project had not only brought us closer together, but had also given us a shared sense of purpose and joy. In addition to our family activities, I made sure to spend one-on-one time with each of the kids. Jack and I often went on bike rides or played catch in the park, while Chloe and I enjoyed baking and crafting together. These moments allowed me to connect with them individually, understanding their unique personalities and interests. Laura and I also made it a priority to nurture our relationship. We scheduled regular date nights, whether it was a quiet dinner at home or a night out at our favorite restaurant. Our bond continued to deepen, and her support and love were invaluable in navigating the complexities of our blended family. One evening, as Laura and I were sitting on the porch watching the sunset, she turned to me and said, "John, I've been thinking, what if we organized a family trip to visit my parents? They've been wanting to meet everyone, and it would be a great way to bond even more." "That sounds like a wonderful idea," I replied, excited at the prospect. "I'm sure the kids would love it." We discussed the details and soon began planning the trip. Laura's parents lived in a charming small town, surrounded by beautiful countryside. It was the perfect destination for a family adventure. When we told Jack and Chloe about the trip, their excitement was palpable. "We get to meet Grandma and Grandpa Laura?" Chloe asked, her eyes wide with anticipation. "Yes, and they're looking forward to meeting you too," Laura replied, hugging her. The trip to Laura's parents' house turned out to be a memorable and heartwarming experience. They welcomed us with open arms, and it didn't take long for Jack and Chloe to warm up to them. We spent our days exploring the countryside, visiting local attractions, and sharing stories around the dinner table. One evening, as we sat around a bonfire, Laura's father shared stories from his childhood, captivating Jack and Chloe with tales of adventure and family. It was a beautiful reminder of the importance of family connections and the stories that bind us together. As the trip came to an end, we returned home with hearts full of gratitude and new memories. The bonds we had strengthened during our time together would carry us through whatever challenges lay ahead. Back in our own home, we continued to nurture our garden, our relationships, and our dreams. Each day was a step forward, a testament to our resilience and the power of love and togetherness. We had built a life that reflected our values, filled with hope, joy, and endless possibilities. As we looked to the future, I knew that no matter what came our way, we would face it together, united by the strength of our family bond and the love that had grown stronger with each passing day. As our family life continued to blossom, I felt a growing desire to extend our sense of purpose and connection beyond our home. Inspired by the impact Laura was making with her community initiative and the success of New Horizons Consulting, I began to explore ways we could give back to the community together as a family. One evening, as we sat down for dinner, I brought up the idea. "I've been thinking about how we can get more involved in our community," I said. "There are so many ways we can make a difference and help others, just like we've been helping each other." Jack's eyes lit up. "That sounds cool, Dad. What can we do?" Laura smiled, nodding in agreement. "There are plenty of opportunities. We could volunteer at the local food bank, help out at community events, or even start our initiative." Chloe chimed in, "Can we do something with the garden? Maybe share our vegetables with people who need them?" "That's a fantastic idea, Chloe," I said, feeling proud of her thoughtfulness. "We could start a community garden project where families can come together to grow and share fresh produce." The idea quickly took root, and over the next few weeks, we began planning our community garden project. We reached out to neighbors, local organizations, and the city council, explaining our vision and seeking support. The response was overwhelmingly positive, and we soon had a group of enthusiastic volunteers ready to join us. One Saturday morning, we held the first meeting for our community garden project. A diverse group of people gathered in our backyard, including families, seniors, and young adults, all eager to contribute. We shared our plans, discussed potential locations, and brainstormed ideas for making the garden a vibrant and inclusive space. Jack and Chloe were actively involved, helping to explain the project and sharing their excitement with the other kids. Jessica also participated, bringing her experience with community outreach to the table. It was heartwarming to see everyone working together, united by a common goal. After weeks of planning and preparation, we secured a plot of land in a nearby park and began transforming it into a community garden. We organized workdays, where volunteers came together to clear the land, build raised beds, and plant seeds. The sense of camaraderie and teamwork was palpable, and it wasn't long before the garden began to take shape. As the garden flourished, so did the sense of community. Families who had never met before became friends, sharing stories, gardening tips, and the joy of watching their plants grow. The garden became a hub of activity, with people coming together to tend to their plots, exchange produce, and participate in workshops on sustainable gardening practices. One sunny afternoon, we held a garden festival to celebrate our progress and the incredible sense of community that had developed. There were games for the kids, live music, and tables laden with fresh produce and homemade goods. The air was filled with laughter and the vibrant energy of people coming together for a shared purpose. As I walked through the garden, I felt a profound sense of fulfillment. This project not only brought our family closer, but also created a ripple effect of positive change throughout the community. Laura, standing beside me, squeezed my hand. "This is amazing, John. Look at what we've accomplished together." "It's more than I ever imagined," I replied, my heart swelling with pride. "And it's just the beginning." As the festival drew to a close, we gathered everyone for a group photo in front of the garden. Jack and Chloe stood in the front, beaming with pride, while the rest of us crowded around, smiling and laughing. It was a moment that captured the essence of our journey: resilience, community, and the power of coming together. In the months that followed, the community garden continued to thrive, becoming a beloved fixture in the neighborhood. We expanded our efforts, organizing food drives, educational workshops, and seasonal events that brought people together and strengthened our bonds. One winter evening, as we sat by the fireplace, Jack said, "Dad, I'm proud of what we've done with the garden. It's made such a difference." Chloe nodded in agreement. "And it's so much fun to see everyone working together. I feel like we're part of something really special." "We are," I said, smiling at them. "We've built something that will last, something that shows the power of community and the importance of giving back." As we looked to the future, I knew that our journey of growth and connection was far from over. We had found a way to turn our challenges into opportunities, creating a life filled with purpose and joy. The community garden was just one example of what we could achieve when we came together, and I was excited to see what new ventures and adventures awaited us. With each passing day, our family bond grew stronger, and our sense of community deepened. We learned that true strength comes from supporting each other and working towards a common goal. No matter what challenges lay ahead, I knew we would face them with resilience, love, and a commitment to making a positive impact on the world around us. Life was flowing smoothly, our family and community projects thriving, when an unexpected challenge came our way, testing the strength and resilience we had worked so hard to build. It was a regular Tuesday evening when I received a call that would disrupt our newfound peace. "Mr. Thompson, this is Dr. Williams from City Hospital. I'm calling about Laura. She's been in an accident." My heart sank, and I felt a cold rush of fear. "Is she okay? What happened?" "She's stable, but we need you to come to the hospital as soon as possible. She's sustained some injuries, but she's conscious and asking for you." I quickly called Jessica to come watch Jack and Chloe, explaining the situation as best as I could without alarming them too much. Then I rushed to the hospital, my mind racing with worry. Laura had become such a vital part of our lives, and the thought of losing her was unbearable. When I arrived at the hospital, I was directed to Laura's room. She looked pale and bruised, with bandages on her head and arm, but she managed a weak smile when she saw me. "John, I'm so glad you're here." I took her hand gently, my heart aching. "What happened, Laura?" "I was driving home from a meeting when a car ran a red light and hit me," she explained, her voice shaky. "The doctors say I have a concussion and a fractured arm, but it could have been much worse." I squeezed her hand, feeling a mix of relief and gratitude. "I'm just glad you're okay. We'll get through this together." The next few days were a whirlwind of medical appointments and adjustments at home. Laura needed rest and support to heal, and I juggled work, the kids, and taking care of her. Jessica stepped up to help with the children, and the community pitched in, offering meals and assistance. One evening, after putting the kids to bed, I sat with Laura, who was resting on the couch. "You're doing an amazing job, John," she said softly. "I know this is hard on you." "It's hard on you too," I replied, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "We're a team, remember? We'll get through this." As Laura slowly recovered, the kids were a constant source of encouragement. Jack would bring her drawings and stories from school, while Chloe made sure she had everything she needed. Their love and support were a testament to the strength of our family bond. One weekend, we decided to take a short trip to the beach to help Laura relax and continue her recovery. The fresh air and change of scenery were just what we needed. We spent our days building sandcastles, flying kites, and enjoying the soothing sound of the waves. Sitting on the beach one evening watching the sunset, Laura turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "This accident has made me realize how precious life is. I want to make sure we make the most of every moment, John." I nodded, feeling the weight of her words. "You're right. We've been given a second chance, and we need to cherish it." When we returned home, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. I threw myself into our community projects and New Horizons Consulting with even more dedication. Laura continued her work with the community initiative, finding new ways to make an impact despite her temporary physical limitations. One day, as I was working in the office, Jack and Chloe came running in, excitement written all over their faces. "Dad, we have an idea!" Jack exclaimed. We want to organize a charity run to raise money for the community garden and the hospital that helped Laura," Chloe added, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. Their idea was brilliant, and I was incredibly proud of their initiative. We discussed the details, and soon the whole family was involved in planning the event. Jessica used her community connections to help spread the word, and Laura, despite her injuries, contributed with her expertise in organizing events. The charity run quickly gained momentum, attracting participants from all over the community. On the day of the event, the park was filled with people of all ages, ready to run for a good cause. Jack and Chloe had created posters and decorations, and the atmosphere was electric with excitement and camaraderie. As the run began, I felt a deep sense of pride and gratitude. Our family had faced an unexpected challenge and turned it into an opportunity to make a difference. Laura's accident had been a stark reminder of the fragility of life, but it had also brought us closer and strengthened our resolve to live with purpose and joy. The charity run was a resounding success, raising significant funds for the community garden and the hospital. It was a testament to the power of resilience, community, and the unbreakable bonds of family. That evening, as we celebrated with a family dinner, Jack raised his glass of lemonade. "To Mom's recovery and our amazing family. To new beginnings and making a difference," Chloe added, clinking her glass with Jack's. Laura and I exchanged a look filled with love and pride. "To resilience and the power of coming together," I said, raising my glass. As we toasted to our journey, I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we would face them together, with love, strength, and an unwavering commitment to each other and our community. The unexpected challenge tested us, but it also showed us the incredible power of unity and the importance of cherishing every moment we have together. With Laura's recovery well underway and the success of the charity run behind us, life began to settle back into a comfortable routine. Our experiences over the past year have brought us closer together and strengthened our resolve to cherish each moment. As the seasons changed, so did our perspectives, and we began to look towards the future with renewed hope and ambition. One evening, as we sat around the dinner table, Laura brought up an idea that had been on her mind. "I've been thinking," she began, glancing around at us. "What if we expanded New Horizons Consulting to include a branch focused on community development projects? We've seen firsthand how powerful these initiatives can be." I nodded thoughtfully. "That's a fantastic idea. We've already laid the groundwork with the community garden and the charity run. Expanding our reach could amplify our impact and help more people." Jack and Chloe looked excited. "Can we help with the new projects?" Jack asked eagerly. "Absolutely," I replied, smiling. "This will be a family effort, just like everything else we do." Over the next few weeks, we began planning the expansion of New Horizons Consulting. We reached out to local organizations, government officials, and community leaders to discuss potential projects and partnerships. The response was overwhelmingly positive, and it wasn't long before we had a list of initiatives ready to launch. Our first project was to renovate a local community center that had fallen into disrepair. The center was a vital resource for many families, offering after-school programs, senior activities, and various community events. With the support of volunteers and donations, we embarked on the renovation, transforming the center into a vibrant and welcoming space once again. Jack and Chloe were actively involved in painting walls, organizing supplies, and interacting with the other volunteers. Jessica continued to lend her expertise, and Laura managed the project with her usual efficiency and compassion. On the day of the grand reopening, the community center was filled with people eager to see the transformation. The mayor cut the ribbon, and the crowd erupted in applause. It was a proud moment for our family and a testament to what we could achieve together. As we walked through the newly renovated center, I overheard a conversation between Jack and one of his friends. "This place is amazing," his friend said. "Your family did all this?" Jack nodded, beaming with pride. "Yeah, it was a lot of work, but it was worth it. We made a difference." His words resonated deeply with me. We had indeed made a difference, and it was only the beginning. The success of the community center project opened up new opportunities, and we soon found ourselves involved in various initiatives, from organizing job fairs to launching educational programs. One evening, as we were discussing our latest project, Laura looked at me with a thoughtful expression. "John, I've been thinking about something else too," she said. "What if we created a scholarship fund for local students? There are so many bright young minds who just need a little support to reach their full potential. That's a wonderful idea, I replied, feeling a surge of excitement. We could set up a foundation and involve the community in fundraising efforts. The scholarship fund quickly became a reality, and we organized a series of events to raise money and awareness. Jack and Chloe were particularly enthusiastic about this project, understanding the importance of education and the opportunities it could provide. At the first scholarship awards ceremony, we honored several students who had demonstrated exceptional academic and personal achievements. Seeing their joy and gratitude was incredibly fulfilling, and it reinforced our commitment to supporting the next generation. As the months passed, New Horizons Consulting continued to grow, and our family remained at the heart of every project. We faced challenges along the way, but our shared vision and dedication kept us moving forward. One weekend, we decided to take a short trip to the mountains, a place where we could relax and reflect on all we had accomplished. As we hiked through the forest, surrounded by the beauty of nature, I felt a deep sense of peace and contentment. Sitting by a campfire that evening with the stars shining brightly above us, Laura turned to me and said, "John, we've come so far. I'm so grateful for everything we've built together." "Me too," I replied, taking her hand. "And there's so much more to come. We've proven that we can face anything together." Jack and Chloe snuggled closer, the warmth of the fire and the comfort of our family bond wrapping around us. "We're a great team," Chloe said, her voice filled with conviction. "We are," Jack agreed, "and we're going to keep making a difference." As we sat there, enjoying the quiet moments and the sense of unity, I knew that our journey was far from over. We had turned challenges into opportunities, pain into purpose, and dreams into reality. Our story was one of resilience, love, and the power of coming together. Looking ahead, I felt a renewed sense of hope and anticipation for the future. There would be more adventures, more challenges, and more opportunities to grow and give back. And through it all, we would face everything together, with the strength of our family bond guiding us every step of the way. The fire that had once threatened to destroy our lives had instead forged us into something stronger and more beautiful. We had emerged from the ashes with a new sense of purpose and a commitment to making a positive impact on the world around us. As the flames of the campfire flickered and danced, I held my family close, grateful for every moment we had shared and every moment yet to come. This was our new chapter, and it was filled with endless possibilities. With the new chapter of our lives in full swing, I often found myself reflecting on the journey that had brought us to this point. The challenges we had faced, the resilience we had shown, and the love that had carried us through it all were constant sources of inspiration. As our family and community projects continued to thrive, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for everything we had built together. One evening, as the sun set and painted the sky with hues of orange and pink, I gathered everyone in the backyard for a special family meeting. "I've been thinking a lot about how far we've come," I began, looking at each of them. "And I wanted to take a moment to reflect on our journey and express my gratitude." Jack and Chloe exchanged curious glances, while Laura and Jessica smiled, sensing the significance of the moment. We settled around the garden, the lush greenery and vibrant flowers a testament to our collective efforts. "I remember the night of the fire," I continued, my voice steady. "It felt like everything was falling apart, but it was also the beginning of a journey that brought us closer and made us stronger." Chloe nodded, her eyes thoughtful. "We've been through so much, but we're here together. That's what matters." "Exactly," I said, feeling a surge of pride. "We turned every challenge into an opportunity. We rebuilt our lives, helped our community, and grew stronger as a family." Jack looked up, his eyes shining with determination. "And we've made a difference. The community garden, the charity run, the scholarship fund. We've done so much good." Laura reached for my hand, her touch warm and reassuring. "We've created something beautiful out of the ashes, John. And it's because we've done it together." Jessica, who had been listening quietly, spoke up. "I'm grateful for the second chance you all gave me. I know I made mistakes, but being part of this family and these projects has helped me become a better person." Her words were heartfelt, and I could see the sincerity in her eyes. "We all deserve second chances, Jessica, and you've shown that you're committed to making things right." As we sat there, surrounded by the fruits of our labor and the love we had cultivated, I felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Our journey had been filled with ups and downs, but it had also been incredibly rewarding. We had learned, grown, and achieved so much together. I want to thank each of you, I said, my voice filled with emotion. Jack and Chloe, for your resilience and creativity. Laura, for your unwavering support and love. And Jessica, for your dedication to rebuilding and being there for the kids. You've all played a crucial role in our journey. Chloe leaned against me, her small hand in mine. We're a team, Dad. We always will be. Jack nodded in agreement. And we're just getting started. There's so much more we can do. Laura smiled, her eyes reflecting the love and pride we all felt. To our family in the future, she said, raising an imaginary toast. To our family in the future, we all echoed, feeling a sense of unity and hope. In the days that followed, we continued to focus on our projects and enjoy the simple moments that made life special. We celebrated milestones, supported each other through challenges, and embraced every opportunity to make a positive impact. One sunny afternoon, we received a visit from the mayor, who wanted to personally thank us for our contributions to the community. Your family has become a beacon of hope and inspiration, he said, presenting us with a plaque of recognition. The work you've done has made a lasting difference, and we're grateful for your dedication. It was a proud moment for all of us, and as we posed for a photo with the mayor, I felt an overwhelming sense of accomplishment. We had come a long way from the night of the fire, and our journey was a testament to the power of resilience, love, and community. As we continued to move forward, I remained committed to nurturing our family bond and finding new ways to give back. We organized more community events, expanded our scholarship fund, and explored new initiatives that aligned with our values and passions. One evening, as I was tucking Chloe into bed, she looked up at me and said, "Dad, do you think we'll ever stop doing all these projects?" I smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "I hope not, sweetie. Helping others and making a difference is what makes life meaningful, and as long as we do it together, we'll always find joy in the journey." She hugged me tightly. "I love you, Dad. I'm so glad we're a family." "I love you too, Chloe, more than you'll ever know." As I left her room and walked down the hallway, I felt a deep sense of peace and contentment. Our journey had been filled with unexpected twists and turns, but it had also brought us closer and enriched our lives in countless ways. Looking ahead, I knew there would be more challenges and adventures, but I was ready to face them with the strength of our family bond and the love that had carried us through everything. Together, we created a life filled with purpose, joy, and endless possibilities. And as I stood there, reflecting on our journey, I knew that the best was yet to come. We had built a foundation of love and resilience that would sustain us through whatever lay ahead. Our story was far from over, and I was excited to see where the next chapter would take us. With gratitude in my heart and hope for the future, I walked back to join Laura on the porch, ready to embrace whatever came next. We had faced the fire, rebuilt our lives, and found a new sense of purpose. And as long as we were together, I knew we could handle anything the future held. Our journey was a testament to the power of love, resilience, and the strength of family. And as we looked ahead, we did so with gratitude, hope, and a commitment to making the world a better place, one step at a time. As our family continued to grow stronger, I found myself reflecting on the future and the many possibilities it held for us. We had faced so much together, and each challenge had only fortified our bond. Now, it was time to look ahead and envision the next steps in our journey. One Saturday morning, as we gathered for breakfast, I brought up the idea of taking a long road trip across the country. "What do you all think about hitting the open road and exploring new places together?" I asked, excitement evident in my voice. Jack's eyes lit up. "That sounds awesome, Dad. We could visit national parks, see new cities, and meet new people." Chloe clapped her hands. "Yes, and we can take lots of pictures and make a scrapbook of our adventure." Laura smiled warmly, always supportive of our family's adventures. "It sounds like a wonderful idea, John. We've worked so hard, and it would be great to take some time to explore and enjoy each other's company." Even Jessica, who had become an integral part of our family, nodded in agreement. "I think it's a fantastic idea. It would be a great way to create new memories and bond even more." With everyone on board, we began planning our trip. We mapped out a route that would take us through some of the most beautiful and iconic places in the country, From the Grand Canyon to Yellowstone and bustling cities to quiet coastal towns, our journey would be filled with diverse experiences and endless possibilities. We spent the next few weeks preparing for the trip, packing essentials, planning activities, and making sure everything was in place. The excitement was palpable, and the kids couldn't wait to hit the road. On the day of our departure, we loaded up the car and set off on our grand adventure. The open road stretched out before us, promising new experiences and unforgettable moments. As we drove, we sang along to our favorite songs, shared stories, and marveled at the changing landscapes. Our first stop was the Grand Canyon, a breathtaking sight that left us all in awe. Standing at the edge, looking out at the vast expanse, I felt a deep sense of wonder and gratitude. "This is incredible," Jack said, his voice filled with awe. "It's so much bigger than I imagined." Chloe nodded, her eyes wide with amazement. "It's like a painting come to life." We spent the day hiking, exploring, and taking in the stunning views. As the sun set, painting the sky with vibrant colors, we sat together, reflecting on the beauty of the moment. "This is what life is all about," I said, feeling a profound connection to my family and the world around us. The next few weeks were filled with adventure and discovery. We visited national parks, hiked through forests, and camped under the stars. In the cities, we explored museums, attended local events, and savored new foods. Each day brought new experiences and deeper connections. One evening, as we sat around a campfire in Yellowstone, Laura turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "This trip has been amazing, John. It's given us a chance to reconnect and appreciate the simple joys of life." "I agree," I replied, watching the flames dance. "It's reminded me of how important it is to take time for ourselves and our family, to explore and experience the world together." Jessica, who had been quietly roasting marshmallows, spoke up. "This trip has also shown me how far we've come. We've built something beautiful out of the challenges we faced, and it's made us stronger." Jack and Chloe nodded in agreement, their faces illuminated by the firelight. "We're a great team," Jack said, his voice filled with conviction. As we continued our journey, we encountered new friends and heard their stories, adding to the richness of our adventure. Each person we met and each place we visited left a lasting impression, reminding us of the diversity and beauty of the world. One of the most memorable moments of our trip was a visit to a small coastal town, where we joined a local community project to clean up the beach. Working alongside residents, we collected trash and debris, helping to restore the natural beauty of the shoreline. "This is what it's all about," Chloe said, her hands dirty, but her spirit bright. "Helping others and making a difference." Jack nodded, his eyes shining with pride. "And doing it together as a family makes it even better." The sense of accomplishment and connection we felt during the beach cleanup reinforced our commitment to making a positive impact wherever we went. It was a reminder that no matter where we were, we could contribute to the well-being of others and the environment. As our road trip drew to a close, we returned home with hearts full of gratitude and minds brimming with new ideas and dreams. The journey not only strengthened our family bond, but also inspired us to continue exploring and giving back. One evening, as we settled back into our routine, I gathered everyone for a family meeting. "This trip has been an incredible adventure," I began, looking around at my family. "And it's reminded me of the importance of continuing to dream and grow together. What do you all think about making this an annual tradition?" The kids' faces lit up with excitement. "Yes!" they exclaimed in unison. Laura smiled, her eyes filled with love. "I think it's a wonderful idea, John. There's so much more to see and experience." Jessica nodded in agreement. "And it will allow us to keep making memories and strengthening our bond." With the decision made, we began planning our next adventure, eager to see where the road would take us. We faced challenges, embraced new opportunities, and created a life filled with love and purpose. As I looked ahead, I knew that the road was full of endless possibilities, and with my family by my side, we could achieve anything. We had built a foundation of resilience, love, and community that would sustain us through whatever lay ahead. The journey of life was unpredictable, but with each step, we grew stronger and more connected. Together, we would continue to explore, dream, and make a positive impact on the world. And as we embarked on this new chapter, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the road we had traveled and the road that lay ahead. With my family by my side, I knew that the best was yet to come.